Welcome, everybody, to Sunday Morning Gentle. I just realized I didn't put music on yet, so I'm going to do that in a second. We're all going to start on our back. People in the studio are there already. So if you're watching at home, you go to your back. Right, take a few moments. Allow yourself to arrive. Start to get that focus to your breath. You don't have to control your breath here just yet, right? But you're starting to notice it. You're starting to observe it. Getting yourself to a place where there's nothing left in your mind but your breath, so it can push out all those other distractions. And you can be here fully focused on your mat, your practice. And you can be just fully present to your mat, your practice. Hi, Linda. She's watching us. So, settle in. I'm gonna get some music going. You guys are just arriving, letting your breath guide you, ground you to your mat. I want you to feel like you've got your full focus on your breath. Then you can add that element of control to your breath. You start to breathe in through your nose and out through your nose, letting your breaths become longer, slower, and deeper. So as you inhale, you pull your breath all the way down to your belly. And as you exhale, you push it all the way out. And that way, we really can start to move just with one breath, one movement. So lengthen your breaths, slow your breaths, deepen your breaths. Get them under your control. Take a few more rounds here, then we'll start moving. So when you're ready to start moving here, just take your knees, pull them into your chest. And we're just going to circle around, let your knees go over to the right, push them away from your body, bring them to the left, bring them back in. Just do those lumbar circles just a couple times, warming up the spine. Next time your knees are hugged all the way in, just switch directions. Go to the left and away, to the right and back in. Just circle around here. And then we're going to come to a stop here. Now, as you come to a stop, now you're just going to take your hands to the crease of your knees. Rock yourself up just right into easy sit, right? It doesn't matter which leg is in front at first, right? Just in this crisscross position. Sit up nice and tall. We're going to do our circles here. We're going to do hip circles here. Get into those hips just a little bit more, right? Kind of like we were just doing with those lumbar circles. But it hits a different part of the body. You're going to lean forward. Let your elbows push out to the sides, right? So you're bringing the crown of your head forward. And then push in to your left knee and just push yourself over to the right. Then let your arms straighten so you're leaning back a little bit. Come to the left. And then lean forward again. So you're just circling around here with your hips. It's one complete breath for each circle that you make. And then eventually, we're going to lean all the way forward, and we're going to switch and go the other direction. So you're going to press into your right knee, push yourself over to the left, lean back, come to the right, and come back in. So we're just circling here. Do a couple more here. And then eventually, next time you're leaning all the way forward, just come to a stop. Now we're going to bring ourselves back up to seated again, right? So you want that crown of the head going towards the top of the ceiling. Switch out your legs. Bring that awkward leg in front for this next part, right? Last thing we're going to do here in easy sit. You want your hands on your knees again, just like we just did, but you're kind of grabbing the front of your knees here. We're going to do some seated cat-cows. So as you inhale, you're kind of pulling against your knees, bending your elbows, letting them go towards your ribs. Take your chin up to the sky. And then as you exhale, press into your knees, let your elbows go out to the sides, tuck your chin to your chest, and round your back. All right, so just do that a couple times. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. So find your rhythm here, right? Doesn't have to be my rhythm. It can be faster or slower than me. You're finding the rhythm of your breath, whatever that is, and just letting your movements match it. Take 3 or 4 more rounds right here. And then eventually, we're gonna meet back in our easy sit. Right, so now we've come to our easy sit. We're gonna come around into tabletop, right? So come to tabletop just for a few breaths. You're gonna bring your shoulders over your wrists, get your hips over your knees. Your hands are shoulder width distance apart, your knees are hip width distance apart. Bump your hips over to left, bump them to the right, and take your gaze over your right shoulder. Right. And then keep your hips over to the right. Just take your gaze all the way over your left shoulder. It feels a little different. Then bring your gaze back to center. Then pull your hips back in. Now bump your hips over to the left. Take your gaze over your left shoulder. And then bring it around to looking all the way over your right shoulder. Bring that gaze back to center and take your hips back to center. All right, once we get here, now we're going to tuck the toes under, lift the hips up and back, come in to our first down dog of the morning. Right? So you can add some movement here if you want to, bending one knee then the other, pressing that opposite heel towards the ground, walking the dog. Maybe you want to sway your hips a little bit more if that was feeling good to you. Maybe you want to just stay still, all good, right? But make sure you're taking the time just to check in with your body and feel every part of your body in down dog. So notice what's feeling good today, what's not feeling good. Make sure you're listening to your body, doing what it needs as we go through the rest of practice. All right? For your down dog, you're going to bend your knees just slightly. Look between your thumbs. Bring your feet to your hands. Come to forward fold. Your belly's touching your thighs, your head's hanging heavy and long. Make sure you can shake your head yes and no. There's no creases in the back of your neck. Right? Bend your knees as much as you need to get your belly to touch your thighs. That's your true forward fold. Take just a couple breaths here. Let those hamstrings open up. Now, as you inhale next, we're going to take a half lift into monkey. Just pull your shoulders even with your hips. So now your back is flat and the crown of your head is pointed forward. Then as you exhale, fold back down. Belly to thighs, crown the head towards the mat. This time as we inhale, we're going to take a big reverse swan dive. Come all the way up to standing. Step back here a little bit so you can see me all in the camera. All right, so we're going to do our little swimmers today. Some of you know what those are, some of you not, right? So we'll go through it. We're going to start with an open arm twist. You let your right arm reach back behind you. Take that left arm, reach it forward. So you're just twisted here towards the right wall. Now from there, you're going to let your right hand, that's the one back behind you, come down. It's going to come to your left thigh, or maybe just wrap behind your back. You're reaching that left hand up and over your right shoulder, and you're looking over your right shoulder. So you're spiraling to the right. So call these the swimmer spirals because now we're gonna swim, right? You're gonna pretend like you're taking a little stroke, swim stroke, right? So that your left hand reaches forward and your right hand reaches back behind you. So now you're twisted to the left. And then from there, let that left hand come down to your left thigh or wrap it behind your back. Take your right hand, reach it up to the sky, reach it over your left shoulder and look over your left shoulder. Now you're spiraling to the left. Now we take another swim stroke here, but this time we take an extra swim, right? So that both hands come all the way up overhead. Then just press your palms together and come into a back bend here. Shift your hips forward. Take your chest and your gaze up. Inhale, stand tall. And then exhale, let yourself swan dive all the way back down. Forward fold. So that's our basic sun salutation today. We're going to do it a couple more times through. Now that you guys have seen it, we'll move it a little faster. We're going to move it with our breath. So as you inhale, take a half lift into monkey. As you exhale, fold back down. Inhale, take a first swan dive, come all the way up to standing. And then as you exhale, sweep your right hand back, bring your left hand forward, twist to the right, drop your right hand, reach that left hand up and over, spiral to the right. And then take your swim till you're twisting to the left. Left hand back, right hand forward. Drop your left hand, reach your right hand up and over. And then take your swim till both arms are up overhead. Press your palms together. Take a back bend here. Hips shift forward, chest and gaze go up. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, swan dive it back down, forward fold. Let's do it one more time. Inhale, half lift monkey. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale, reverse swan dive, come all the way up to standing. And then as you exhale, sweep your right hand back and your left hand forward. Drop your right hand, reach that left hand up and over so you're spiraling. And then swim it around, turn that open arm twist to the left. Drop the left hand down, reach the right hand over the left shoulder. So we're around one last time. This time we're coming all the way up to the top, pressing the palms together and taking your back bend. Inhale, come up tall, and then exhale, swan dive, all the way back down to forward fold. Now from here, you're gonna take one more half lift into monkey, and then fold back down. Now this time, as we inhale, you're gonna take a big reverse swan dive, come up to standing again. Now this time as we come all the way up to standing, just bring your hands together. You're gonna interlace them in the yoga mudras. That means all of your fingers interlace except your pointer finger. That goes up to the sky. Right, so you're really pointing those pointer fingers up to the sky. Now from here, right, you're gonna come, shift forward, come off the heels so that you're on the balls of your feet. So you're balancing. And then you're gonna start to bend your knees and drop your hips. Now you're dropping your hips as low as you can, right? Maybe it's a quarter of the way down, maybe it's halfway down, maybe you can go all the way down to where your hips come down to your heels, just wherever you're comfortable. Right, keep reaching those hands up to the sky, take one breath here. And then as you inhale, press through the balls of your feet, bring yourself all the way back up to standing. Once you're back up standing, you can drop your heels. Then you're gonna lean to the right, so you're still holding that pointer finger mudra, and just pointing that pointer finger towards the right side of the room, both pointer fingers towards the right side of the room. Come back up here, and then go the other way. Your hips to the left, point to the right. Or I said that the wrong way. Bump your hips to the right, point to the left. Come back up to center here, and then swan dive it all the way back down. Forward fold, belly to thighs, crown of the head towards the mat. Now you can take one more half lift monkey here, pull your shoulders even with your hips. Then as you exhale, fold back down. This time, as we fold down, you're gonna keep your right foot forward. Take a big step back with your left foot. Come to runner's lunge. So you've got your right knee over your right ankle, your left leg's nice and long. We're gonna drop that left heel down to the mat here, so your left toes point to the left. And then pull your upper body up. Come into your warrior one, right? So your hips are square towards the front of the room, and you're reaching up tall. Maybe you spin your pinky fingers in here towards each other. Look up at them. If it feels okay, start to reach your hands towards the back of the room. Get your chest to go a little bit more towards the sky. And as you exhale here, come all the way down. Just drop your right elbow to your right knee. Take your left hand straight up to the sky, so your left shoulder stacking right on top of the right. And then from there, see if you can reach those left fingertips towards the top of your mat, letting your left bicep come right over your left ear. So you're in this side angle here, keeping your chest open, right, towards the left side of the room. Now from here, use your core strength, keep that bend in your right knee. You're just gonna pull it right in to a reverse warrior. So you're gonna let that left hand come all the way along your left thigh, or maybe wrap it around behind your back. Reach those right fingertips way back behind you. So reach that right hand up and over. Keep bending into that right knee. Keep reaching a little bit further back with those right fingertips. Create that space in the right side body. Right now from here, cartwheel your hands around. You're gonna land your left hand on the inside of your right foot. And your right hand's gonna go up to the sky. Right, so we're in this twisted lunge. If you want to let that left heel lift while you do this twist, you can. And keep it down if you need to. Right, you're stacking your shoulders, opening your chest to the right side of the room. Now everybody's gonna drop that left heel. Start to push off the mat with your left hand. Reach it forward, and again, just cartwheel your hands around. Draw yourself into warrior two. Deep bend in the right knee. Still sending that right knee towards the pinky toe side of the foot. Looking right over the middle finger on your right hand. If you can see yourself in a mirror, your left hand will be disappearing behind you, right? Everything's nice and stacked up. Your torso's right over your hips. All right, now from here, take that left hand, turn it up to the sky, right? And then it's kind of like you're gonna throw a ball. You're throwing the ball up and over, letting both hands come down to the inside of your right foot. Straighten your right leg out, turn your right toes towards the left long edge of your mat, and then walk your hands between your feet, just sinking down here into a wide forward fold. So you want the crown of your head to be going down towards the ground. Get it as low as you can to the ground, right? Maybe you grab onto the same ankle with the same hand and pull. Maybe you walk your hands back behind you, get that crown of the head a little bit closer. Maybe you can drop down to your forearms. I can't quite do it here, right? But if I could. Take one more breath here. Feel this in your hamstrings. All right, and then everybody's going to bring their hands to the center. You're going to push away from the mat with both hands. Just draw it right up into a five-pointed star. All the way up. Reaching up. So the whole point of five-pointed star is to lengthen the spine. So you're making yourself as tall as you possibly can. Reaching those fingertips up to the sky. And then from there, turn your heels in and your toes out. You're going to bend into your knees and drop your hips, bend into your elbows. So we're coming into goddess here. Right? So your palms are towards the long edge of your mat. Pulling your shoulder blades together, letting those knees track right along the ankles. Now, if it feels okay here, I want you again to shift to the balls of your feet and just lift your heels up off the mat. Up. And drop your heels down here. And then straighten out your legs. Come back up through your five-pointed star. Turn your toes back towards the left long edge of your mat. So you're in that full five-pointed star. Now, turn your right toes back towards the front of your mat, right? You're going to bend into that right knee. Bring your hands through heart center, and then just keep twisting to the right, bringing your left elbow towards your right knee. Maybe it's on the inside of your knee, maybe it's hooking over your knee, right? Maybe it's right on your knee. Whatever your body allows for, you want your thumbs to still be in heart center. You can see here I lifted my left heel. You can keep your left heel down if you need to. Now as we untwist, everybody's going to bring that left heel down. Your hips are going to turn again towards the long left edge of your mat, but your right toes stay pointed towards the top of your mat. Your hands go up to the sky. Grab a hold of your right wrist with your left hand and pull towards the back of the room into your sky archer. And then you're going to release your hands, bend into that right knee. Drop your hands down on either side of your right foot. Turn those left toes back towards the front of the room. And then step your left foot forward to meet your right. Come to your forward fold. Right, now we're going to go into that candlestick and side bends again, right? We're going to start from our forward fold. Take a half lift to monkey. Pull your shoulders even with your hips. Fold back down. Swan dive all the way up. As you come all the way up here, right? You're going to release your hands again. Make that pointer finger mudra, right? So your pointer finger's going towards the top of the sky, going towards the ceiling there, that's what I want to say. Shift forward, just let the heels lift up off the mat, come onto the balls of your feet. All right, now once we're doing that, then you start to bend your knees and drop your hips. And maybe this is going just a little bit down. Maybe you're going a little bit more down, maybe a little bit more. Maybe you can go all the way down to your hips, come almost to your heels. Right, wherever you are, just take a breath and then press through the balls of those feet. You're going to bring yourself all the way back up to standing. Once you get all the way up to standing, you drop your heels. We're gonna take those side bends to the left side first this time, right? Just lean to the left, pointer fingers to the left, hips to the right. Come back to center, lean to the right. Come back to center, and then from there, just release your hands and swan dive all the way down. Forward fold, belly to thighs, crown of the head towards the mat. All right, now this time, you're gonna keep your left foot forward. Take that big step back with your right foot. Come to runner's lunge. Forward here so you can see my whole body in the screen. All right, now at the beginning, we're gonna dial that right heel down so your right toes point to the right. Got that left knee right over the left ankle. You're just gonna peel your upper body up, come into warrior one. So you want your hips to square towards the front of the mat. Sometimes I literally drop my hands to my hips. Get those hips to square. You can always adjust with your back foot if you need to get your hips to square towards the top of the mat. Take your hands up to the sky. Maybe here you spin your pinky fingers in towards each other. Look up at them, right? Keep bending into your left knee. And if it feels all right, reach your hands back, let your chest go a little bit more towards the ceiling. Now as you exhale here, you can drop your left elbow to your left thigh, left knee. Right hand goes straight up to the sky. So we're here in this side angle. If you can, start to reach those left fingertips now towards the top of your mat. So you bring that left bicep right over the left ear, keeping your chest open towards the right side of the room. And then use that core strength. We're going to pull it all the way to reverse. So that right hand just comes along your right thigh, or maybe it wraps behind your back. Those left fingertips reach towards the back of the room. Keep bending into your left knee. Keep reaching back with those left fingertips. Now you're going to cartwheel your hands around here. Left hand's going to land on the inside, right hand's going to land, on the inside of the left foot. Left hand goes to the sky, maybe your right heel lifts here. Pick that twist. Stack your shoulders, open your chest, crown the head towards the top of your mat. Everybody's going to drop their left heel. You're going to lead, right heel. You're going to lead with your right hand. It reaches forward, it rainbows around, and you just reach your left fingertips right over your left knee. Come into warrior two. Deep bend in the left knee, sending it towards the pinky toe side of the foot. Right, you're looking right over the middle finger on that left hand. Everything's nice and stacked up. Maybe you can sink a little bit deeper. Now you're going to turn your right palm up to the sky, right? Like you're holding a ball in your right hand. You're going to throw it over your head. Let both hands come around so they land on the inside of your left foot. All right, and then from there, you're going to push your left leg straight, walk your hands to the center of the right long edge of your mat, turn your left toes to the right, let yourself sink here into your wide forward fold. Great, again, you want to get nice and low. That time here, maybe grab those ankles and pull lower. Hands can walk forward, hands can walk back. Just get that crown of the head as much as you can toward the mat. Now, everybody's going to bring their hands to the center of the mat, right long edge of the mat, right? Push away from that with both hands. And just draw yourself all the way up to 5-pointed star. Again, try to lengthen out the spine, make yourself as tall as you can, reach towards the ceiling, let it all open up. And then from there, you're going to turn your heels in and your toes out, bend into your knees, drop your hips, bend your elbows. So it's like there's a string on your tailbone now, right? Pulling you towards the floor. Get low, a little lower than you did last time maybe. It's your second time through. Body's ready. Get those elbows even with the shoulders. Pull the shoulder blades together, open the chest. Nice deep goddess. And then from there, if it feels okay, you're going to put the weight into the balls of your feet and lift your heels up off the mat. And then from there, drop your heels, push through all four corners of the feet, bring yourself back up into 5-pointed star, turn your toes towards the long edge of your mat again, reach high. We're going to turn the left toes now towards the top of the mat, right? Bend into your left knee, let your hips turn towards the top of the mat, bring your hands through heart center, take that twist, bring your right elbow towards your left knee. You can let your left heel lift here, right heel, or you can keep that right heel down. Your thumbs are right at heart center. And then as we untwist here, we drop that right heel down, push your left leg straight, Let your hips turn back towards the long right edge of your mat. Take your hands up to the sky. You're keeping those left toes pointed towards the top of the mat this time, right? Grab your left wrist with your right hand and pull towards the back of the room. So turn your left toes forward, Karen. There you go. And then just pull. Oh, open up that whole left side body. Now we're going to release our hands here. Bend back into your left knee. Drop your hands on either side of your left foot. Turn your right toes forward. Step your right foot forward to meet your left. Come into your forward fold here. All right, I'm going to go grab a block. So we're going to need one for this next thing. Once you're in your forward fold, you're going to toe your feet out wide to the edge of your mat. All right, turn your heels in and your toes out. And then bend into your knees and drop your hips. We're going to come down to our Malasana squat, right? Now, if you have the block, right, you can always take the block and sit down on it in Malasana. That feels good. If you like it without the block, stay without the block. If it's not good for you with or without the block, you don't have a block, drop all the way down to your glutes. Bring the soles of your feet together and come to bound ankle. Right, you find your spot here, somewhere where you're comfortable. Let your eyes close. This is our chance to reconnect with our breath. So you don't have to control your breath here. Or you do want to control your breath, sorry. You do want to control your breath. You want to make sure that you still have control of your breath. You want to make sure that you still have focus on your breath. If any of those things got lost while we were flowing, take your time, reassert it, right? Lengthen those breaths again, slow them again, deepen them again. Take 3 more breaths here wherever you are. And then when you're ready here, we're all going to come into tabletop. We're going to do a little bit of core work from here, all right? So where you're in tabletop, you've got your shoulders over your wrists, your hips over your knees. Now we're going to do it first, right? You're going to tuck your toes under. And you're going to lift your knees up off the mat. So we've done these before, little knee hovers, right? You're hovering your knees. What I want you to do here, from your knee hovers, let your shoulders go back behind your wrists. Push your hips toward your heels. My knees are still off the ground, right? It's a little crouch. And I'm coming back to that knee hover. You're just going back and forth here a couple times. Right? Do it about 5 more times. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now this time you're going to come all the way back. You're hovering those knees. Now just push your legs straight. Take your hips up and back. You should end up in down dog. That should feel good. Walk the dog here a couple times in down dog. Bend into your right knee. Press that left heel a little closer to the ground. See how that feels in your left leg. Hold it for 2 breaths. And then switch it out. Right? Press that right heel towards the mat. Bend into your left knee. Hold it for a couple breaths here. And then just push that right leg back, that left leg back. Come into a regular down dog. And then bend back into your knees. Now you're going to drop them all the way to the mat. Flatten your feet. Push it back into child's pose. And then from child's pose, bring it back up into tabletop. Right, now we're going to drop our hips to one side or the other. We've still got a little more core work to do. We're going to do it from our back. So I want you to swing around. Bring your feet in front of you. So your toes are at the top of your mat. You're going to take your arms out long, your chin to your chest, still using our core strength here, right? We're going to round out and gently place ourselves down on the ground. Now, you're going to bring your heels a little bit closer to your glutes. Push into your feet. We're going to come into bridge, but I want it to be a supported bridge because this is gentle yoga, right? So you're going to slide that block under your hips. If you want to make it more active, maybe you take that block up higher. You can take it to its medium level, or you can take it all the way to its highest level. We do want the hips elevated here I want you to be able to focus on more than just pushing those hips up. So you can let the hips relax into the block, using the block as that leverage to get those hips high. And then from there, make sure you're tucking your shoulders at least slightly, right? Your hands are coming together. Maybe you can get them together around the block. Maybe your palms are just on the mat. All good, right? Now, you're going to press into the balls of your feet here. Lift your heels up off the mat. Just stay here, 4 breaths. I didn't say before, right? If you're watching me at home and you're like, I do not have a block, you can always take a pillow or a couch cushion or something, put it underneath your hips and let yourself relax down on it, right? Or your other option, if you absolutely don't have anything, just make fists and let your hips rest on your fists so you look like this, right? All right, now wherever you are, you got the block, you're on your fists, you got a cushion. I want you to keep your left toes pressing to the ground, keep your left heel off the ground. Take your right leg and just kick it straight up the sky. Right? Point your toes towards the ceiling. See if you can hold there. 4 breaths here. And then from there, you're going to drop that right leg down. Keep it straight, right? But you're going to drop it down so your right knee is even with your left knee. So now your toes are just pointed towards the front of the room. So you feel that strength in your right leg, right? It's working. Hold here 4 breaths. And then bend into your right knee. Drop that right foot back down so you're still on the balls of your right foot, right? The heels are lifted. We're going to try that on the other side. So once you're back, balls of both feet on the mat. Lift your left leg up. Just kick it up to the sky. Keep your foot flexed. You're pointing your toes towards the ceiling. Hold here for 4 breaths. And then from there, drop that left leg down so your knees are even with each other. Right, so your left leg's kind of at a 45-degree angle. You're pointing your toes towards the front of the room. Really got to engage that left leg. Feel your glutes. Feel your hamstring. Feel your quads. Working to hold that left leg up. Keep pressing the balls of the right foot into the mat. 3 more breaths. And then bend into your left knee. Drop it back down. And so you've still got those heels lifted now. Just let your heels drop down. See how that changes everything. And then lift your hips up. Slide that block out from underneath you or wherever you've got there, right? Just your palms. Release them. Let your hips come flat to the ground. All right, from here, we're going to do a whole little stretching sequence. We're going to do it all from our back. We're going to start with the eye of the needle. So you're going to pick that right foot up. Put your right ankle on top of your left knee. Let your left knee, or let your right knee fall open. So you're making that little figure 4 with your legs, right? And eye of the needle. We lift that left foot up off the ground. Start to draw that left thigh in towards the body. Your hands can come, so your right hand goes to the inside of your left thigh. Left hand goes to the outside of the left thigh. You interlace your hands around the left thigh. And just keep pulling it towards you. You can kick your left leg up to the sky while you do this. You can keep that left knee bent. You can keep it somewhere in between. Maybe you need more. You let that left heel come all the way to your left glute. And instead of wrapping your hands around your thigh, you wrap them around your shin. Okay, all good options. What we're trying to do here is get that sensation going in the right hip. So to stretch the right hip. Your left leg's your lever, right? The more you pull it toward your body, the more sensation you're going to feel in that right hip. So wherever you are, take 4 more breaths. Now from here, release behind that left leg, left thigh, wherever you're grabbing. Let your left foot come back down to the mat. Now your right leg is going to kick straight up to the sky like we did before, but now you're going to flex your foot, so your heel's going towards the ceiling. Take your left leg, extend it all the way long, push your left thigh towards the ground, right? And then from there, grab wherever you can around your right leg. Maybe it's at your knee, maybe it's at your upper thigh, right? Maybe you can reach your calf or your ankle. Just start to pull that right leg toward you. Still flexing those toes towards your face, pushing that heel up to the sky, keeping your right leg straight. You want to feel it as a nice stretch in your right hamstring, right? If you want more, you can always lift your head and shoulders, bring your nose towards your right knee. You don't have to, and keep it relaxed, right? Wherever you are, keep pressing that left thigh bone down towards the ground, right? You're flexing your left foot. I know you can't see my toes, but they're flexed too, right? Hold here for 5 more breaths. From here, you're going to allow your left hand to come down, right? Just land on your left hip. So your left hand's just there on your left hip. Bring your right hand around so that your right hand now is inside your right leg. Right leg still up to the sky. Start to bend into your right knee. So your right knee is sliding along the outside of your right arm, like you could bring it down to the mat outside your right shoulder. That's not actually going to happen. Pretend that it could. Bend your knee enough that hopefully you can then grab the outside sole of your right foot with your right hand, right from the outside. Now, if you have to, you can be grabbing the ankle or the calf here if you can't bend that knee enough, right? But then you're just pulling that knee down. Again, you want to pretend like your right knee could touch the outside of your right shoulder. You're keeping that left hand on the left hip. You're still pushing that left thigh bone towards the ground. So both sets of hip flexors are opening here. You're in this half-happy baby. Let's take a few more breaths here. Right now from here, you're going to release that right foot. Keep bending into your right knee. First, just take both hands around that right knee and hug it into your chest. Right? Then you're going to release your right hand. It's going to go out long, like a wing, straight out of your right shoulder blade. Right? So your fingertips are reaching straight towards the right side of the room. Take your left hand to the outside of your right knee. Guide that right knee across the left side of your body. So let your right foot land on your left thigh, like I'm doing here. Or if you can roll over enough that you can get that left foot to the ground. Maybe you can get your left knee to the ground. I can't quite do it without letting everything else lift up, so I'm not going to, right? But you want your right shoulder to stay anchored, then you're taking your chin and your gaze over that right shoulder. Just take a few breaths here. Bring your left hand underneath your right knee, pull it back up, hug that right knee back into your chest, right? And then from there, you're just gonna let your right foot come down to the ground. Keep your right knee up to the sky. And we're gonna do all those things on the other side. So you're bending into your left knee, picking that left foot up. You're gonna drop that left ankle now on top of the right knee, let the left knee fall out to the side, so we're making that figure 4 here, coming in to our eye of the needle. So when you're ready, you're picking your right foot up off the mat, drawing that right thigh in towards your body. Now, you can grab around that right thigh, taking your left hand to the inside of your right thigh, right hand to the outside of your right thigh, interlacing your hands and pulling that right leg further towards you, right? You can kick that right leg straight up to the sky. You can keep it bent, right? Let it flop down. Maybe bring that right heel all the way to the right glute and wrap your hands around your right shin instead, right? All these things we're doing so that we get a little more sensation going in that left hip. Wherever you are, the more you pull that right leg towards your body, the more sensation you're going to feel in the left hip. So it's your lever. You're going to find which level to take it at for you. You want to be in that place where you're feeling a little sensation, enough that it's slightly uncomfortable that you wouldn't want to stay here all morning, but not so much that you can't stay here for a few more breaths. When you're ready here, you're going to release wherever you're holding around that right leg. Drop your right foot back to the floor. All right, now your left leg is going to kick straight up to the sky. All right, now you're really flexing that left foot, so your toes are coming back towards your face, heels going towards the ceiling. Take your right leg, let it extend long, push that right thigh bone towards the ground. Grab wherever you can around your left leg. Maybe it's behind your knee, maybe it's higher on your thigh, maybe it's up to your calf or your ankle. And pull that left leg towards you. You want that left leg to stay straight, right? Don't bend it just to get it in closer to your body. The straighter it is, the more you're going to feel that stretch in the left hamstring. If you want to lift your head and shoulders, push them towards your left knee, you can do that. Right? Or you can stay with your head and shoulders down. You're trying to press that right thigh bone closer to the ground. All right, now from here, you're going to take your right hand, drop your right hand down to your right hip. Take your left hand to the inside of your left leg. Start to bend into your left knee, right? Like that left shoulder is going to drop down, that left knee is going to drop down right outside your left shoulder. Keep bending into it so that maybe you can grab the outside sole of your left foot with your left hand, right? If that's not going to happen, then you're just grabbing onto the ankle or the shin, right? Pulling that left knee down. Like you get that left knee to touch the ground outside your left shoulder. In the meantime, you're still pushing that right thigh bone towards the ground. Your right hand, you can see my right hand, there it is. Right, it's on your right hip. Just reminded to push down a little bit more. Let's take 5 breaths here. All right, now from here, you're going to release that left foot, hug that left knee all the way into your chest. Use both hands at first, right? Just tugging it in. And then we're going to do that last single knee twist here. Let your left arm go out long, so just come straight out your shoulder blade, palm flat to the ground. Take your right hand outside your left knee. Use your right hand to guide that left knee over to the right side of your body. Again, you can land that left foot on your right thigh. Maybe you can twist far enough that left foot comes down to the ground, but let your left shoulder stay anchored, right? If I try to push my left knee too far over, you can see that my shoulder starts to lift and my hand starts to slide. I don't want to do that, right? Either way, you're still looking over your left shoulder as you push that left leg to the right. Hopefully you're getting that sensation here in your left hip. Take 5 more breaths. and then you're going to take that left knee, hug it back into your chest. And then just release your left leg. Let your left foot go back flat to the floor, and then bring your right leg in to join it. So now you've got both feet on the floor. Take your hands to your sides, palms face down. We're going to come up into just a regular bridge here, right? So if you want to do it unsupported, you can push all four corners of your feet into the mat. Just lift your hips up, tuck your shoulders slightly, or maybe you work one entire shoulder and the other underneath your body. Clasp your hands underneath your body. If you want to make it a supported bridge like we did before, just take your block, slide it under there, let your hips rest on the block. Right here we're staying flat on the feet. You're keeping your knees right over your ankles, letting your chest puff open at least slightly. So right here I'm even in a supported bridge, but I've still got my shoulders slightly tucked, so my chest puffs open. And just take 4 breaths here, wherever you are. And then from there, right, you'll let your hips flip back down to the ground, nice and slow. If you have a block under there and you want to keep it there as we move to waterfall, that's fine, right? I just took mine out so I can show everybody what we're going to do here. Right? Once your hips are down on the ground, or if they're still on a block, you're going to take your feet straight up to the sky. So both feet coming straight up to the sky. Your heels, your ankles basically right over your hips, right? Your legs are just going straight up, flexing your feet like you're going to step on the ceiling. Right, this is your waterfall. It's a great inversion, sending your blood from the feet where it pools all day back to your head and your heart where you need it more. Now, if you still have a block under your hips, right, it actually makes this slightly more intense here because you've elevated your hips slightly. Still got your heels, your ankles right over your hips, right? You've just got your hips a little more elevated. So if you want to hang out here in supported waterfall, that's a great option too. Maybe you want full shoulder stand, right? That's where you lift your hips up on your own. Put your hands in the small of your back, so you're supporting yourself on your shoulders and your forearms. Right? If you're in a shoulder stand, you want to keep those elbows pointed straight towards the front of the room so that your body weight's coming into your shoulder girdle, not into your elbow joint. If you're in shoulder stand, your feet become kind of half flexed, half pointed, like you're about to slip on a pair of high heels. Right? You don't have to be in in shoulder stand. You can stay in waterfall, whether you're in supported waterfall or unsupported waterfall. Your feet stay fully flexed, like they're going to step on the ceiling. In addition to that increased circulation I talked about, we're also naturally lowering our blood pressure here. We're flooding the body with all sorts of anti-aging, anti-stress hormones. We're resetting our circadian rhythm. That's our sleep cycle. We want your body to know when it's time to be awake and when it's ready to go to sleep. Especially when we do this crazy barbaric thing where we mess with our internal clock by changing the time for no reason whatsoever. Right? I'm not a fan of daylight savings time. Let me put it that way. Although I did enjoy the extra hour of sleep this morning. But you want your body to be able to remember when to sleep and when to wake up. So any inversion like this will help, whatever inversion you're in. All right, when you're ready, we're all going to come out of this the same way. You're going to bend your knees, let them scrape right along your face and body. Slowly drop your feet back down to the mat. Right, as our feet get back down to the mat here, you're going to lift your hips up. You're going to slide that block out from underneath you if you still have it, right? So everybody's hips come flat to the ground. As your hips come flat to the ground here, now we're going to come into happy baby. So your feet are going to go up to the sky again. Right, but this time, they don't have to be right over your hips. They can be angled a little bit forward. You want to have that sacrum, that tailbone pressing into the mat. Separate your feet. Maybe it's a slight separation. Maybe it's a big separation, up to you. Bend your knees, and again, maybe it's a slight bend. Maybe it's a big bend. Maybe you're keeping your legs perfectly straight if that's what feels good to you. All good, right? Reach up for your same foot with your same hand. If you're not grabbing your foot, you can grab your ankle or your shin or your knee. Wherever you make that connection, it's fine. But once you've made it, roll forward just a little bit so you can feel that sacrum, the low part of your back, press into the mat, and then you're going to rock from side to side, giving yourself a little spinal massage. Rock back and forth. Does it feel good? You don't have to do it. You can stay still. But just take this time to feel good. So if you don't like the way your legs are positioned now, maybe you change it, right? Maybe now you take your legs wider, straighter, bend them more, bring them in more, right? Just find somewhere to be that is super comfortable to you. Make your happy baby truly happy. From here, you're going to take your knees and hug them all the way into your chest. Let's take our final twist right here. Let your arms go out long, like wings in that T position. And as you exhale, you're just going to let both knees fall over to the right. So you're taking your chin and your gaze over your left shoulder. You can make this more by taking your right hand, pressing those knees closer to the mat, or maybe extending your legs so they go toward your right fingertips, or you can just stay where you are. Whatever you're doing, keep that left shoulder anchored. That's what's giving you the twist. As you inhale next, pull your knees back to center, and then we're going to drop the knees to the left as our chin and gaze go to the right. Right, so same thing here. If you want to make it more, press down on your knees with your left hand, or maybe extend your legs towards your left fingertips. And keep that right shoulder anchored. We always finish off with this twist, just because it seals up our practice. Lets our bodies remember everything they did today. So next time we can practice, it's all a little easier. We go everywhere a little deeper. As you inhale next here, pull your knees back up to center. One last time. Give them one final hug into your chest. And let's set up for our final pose, our Shavasana. Right? You're going to extend your legs long. Take your hands to your sides. This is your traditional Shavasana, flat on your back. If you're not comfortable here, don't stay here. Right? You have other options. You can bend your knees. Maybe let them fall in against each other. That takes pressure off your low back. You can butterfly your legs. You can roll to your side. You can roll to your belly. You can sit up. Just find somewhere to be where you're perfectly comfortable, where you're going to be able to stay perfectly still. And most importantly, where your mind is going to be able to go perfectly quiet. Now, for anybody who's in the studio, I'm going to come around and give their towel a little squirt with the sea salt spray. Right. If you have a towel at home, you can put it over your eyes. If you have something nice to spray with, you can do that, but it's not necessary. Right? Whatever you're doing here, you're going to close your eyes. Let your breath help you guide yourself to that quiet of the mind. You don't have to control it anymore. Let it go. Let it do what it wants to do. But keep noticing it. Keep observing it. When you can master that, releasing complete control of your breath, but keeping that complete focus on it, then your breath will take you right to that place where there's nothing left in your mind but you and your breath. And that's your true quiet of the mind. slowly start to come back into the room. Wiggle your fingers, your toes, feeling that increased sensation that comes with a quiet mind. If you want to here, you can take your arms overhead, do a nice full, deep body stretch. And from there, roll over onto your right side in a fetal position. Take a couple breaths right there just to reacclimate to our space. Let the sights and the sounds of the room come back to you. Take as long as you need right here. But then when you're ready, only when you're ready, push yourself up to seated. We'll close here. So we're going to close just with our two Kumari breaths and then an Om. Kumari breath, we inhale, as we exhale, make that little humming sound in the back of the throat. And the Om is the universal syllable, uses all parts of the throat. You can join me in these breaths, so you can just listen. But let's close our eyes here. We'll inhale together. Inhaling again. And then we'll inhale one final time and Om. Let your eyes drift open. Bring your hands to heart center. Thank you, all of you, for sharing your energy, your practice with me this morning. The light in me honors the light in each of you. Namaste. All right. I will be back on Wednesday night for some yin, so come join me for that. Liza will be here tomorrow morning for Payo, and Heidi will be here tomorrow night for More Gentle if you need that. All right. Lots of people watching me live today, so thank you, Linda, Mary, Chandra, whoever else is watching me. I hope you all have a great Sunday, and I'll see you Wednesday.